Hello everyone, and welcome back. Just got back from the tent yesterday, and it's afternoon right now. This morning I am like 3 videos behind. So I took the time, I've been working on it for a week to finish the second to the last farmhouse video. It was a longer one, and that's done. Now I just need to upload it. And then they stopped by today because you guys have been watching the videos. You know, they've been doing all that construction stuff outside in front of the house. In fact, when they tore up the asphalt, they're not going to relay asphalt until they're done with that. Well, what they're doing, they're running like fire hydrants, and I call it city water, and was kind of wondering what they're going to do. We had heard that we would have the option of them running it into the house here for free, you know, with the option of hooking it up if we wanted to. And Melissa and I are highly against anything to do with city water. I wouldn't, I mean, I'm not saying I would never live in a place that had city water, because I have. My very first little apartment and then my first little house had that, but every other house has had its own well. And I guess I don't like the chlorine taste of it. I don't like the fact that they can put into your water anything they want. You know, you don't know what you're drinking. I mean, you just assume everything is fine, but if anything changed, they could put it in there. So I mean, just might be stupid reasons to some, but we have our reasons. Anyway, today they stopped by here because they want to know if we wanted it run into the house. And I had a couple of questions that I asked them. And one of them was, in a lot of cities, if you, like we have a well. Say that our well went bad, so we wanted to dig another well. There's ordinances that say you can't if you have city water available. So I asked him that question, and he said it is true in some places. If you are within 300 feet of a city or municipal water supply, you have no choice. You have to hook up to it. But he said here, that's not the case. They don't have any ordinance like that. They don't plan on having any ordinance like that. We're fine just the way we are. So that made me happy to hear that, because we do want them to run it in because it's free. And it'll just be outside, because as a resale value, a lot of people want to be on that city water. They don't mind having a water bill. And they like the fact, you know, if the power goes out, you still have water if it's city water. So to have it run in for free instead of the thousands it would cost to run it later, it's a great selling point for whenever the time comes that we might want to sell. And then I asked him, with all of that water that you're running, you know, all of the fire hydrants right across the street from us, you know, what's going on? So I asked him that, and he said that wherever their water tower is, they had some sort of a, what was the word? I can't remember the word that he used, but it's like they failed an inspection or something. The water wasn't bad, but what's in the water that gets treated with the chlorine creates a byproduct, and that wasn't acceptable or something. So anyway, up the road here, they've been working on it for, where are we at? For about couple of years. It's Melissa. I'll get back to you in a little bit. Hello? So anyway, that they decided they tested water, and the water here is really good. So they're up the road a ways. They put in a pump station. He said there's like 8 pumps or something like that do like 800 gallons a minute, or I don't know. Anyway, they pump that water from here, I think, to the water tower. So, and they did like a 24-hour test where they ran all the pumps, and it dropped the aquifer down 2 feet, and then it recovered within 4 hours. So anyway, it was a prime place to put it. So anyway, they're running that in, and I asked them, I said, are they going to like develop that land then across from us? Because if they develop that land, this place would go for sale very fast. Yeah, I don't want to be next to a neighborhood. I mean, the value of this place would go way up, but I wouldn't want to live there. And he said, no, not at all. This is just a way to get it over there. So anyway, they're going to come in later this week or early next week and run that city water in to the house. Not to the house, but out somewhere. And then you know how you have the shutoffs that are in your driveway? There'll be one in the yard that's flushed down so I can mow over it. So it's just there as an option. Because for resale, a lot of people, like city water versus, oh no, we have maintenance on a well. What happens if the well goes bad? Well, if the well goes bad, they just hook up to city water and they don't have to pay for it going all the way across the yard and across the street. So they're going to run that. I don't know if they're going to come around this side of the house or across the front of the house. I kind of wanted them to go this way, because they're going to chew up the yard. They're going to have to come in with one of those machines that bores under, ground, which is going to make a mess. And then they're going to have to come in with a backhoe and dig a hole going down, down 6 or 7 or 8 feet, so where it doesn't freeze. And then that thing that'll sit on top that's flush is the shutoff. And also where they will access it if somebody ever does run it into the street. But I've been wanting to get this trailer pulled out of here because we're not using it. And I want it set up so it can be used, but I'm sick of it being right next to the house. So I'm just cleaning it up right now. I had done the bedding, so I just made the bed, get the slide pulled in. I want to park it next to the workshop for now, over where I was parking my black truck, because I have a 30 amp service in the back of that workshop, and I have a cord that I bought because Zach was going to set up there when we had the party last year. So I can hook this up there, and this can run on 30 or 50, and it can just be there in case somebody ever needs it. The temperature got to 79 degrees. Melissa came home for maybe a half hour before she had to go to her pottery class. So I went inside and talked to her. Now I'm coming back out, and the weather thing said 59 degrees. It's dropped 20 degrees in probably about 40 minutes. There, we should have power. 18 TV channels right here. I could get, there was 2, but they would come in and then go out and say no signal when I had it right by the house. Good morning, everybody. I'm heading down to McDonald's so that I can upload a video. I've got a longer farmhouse one that needs to be done, and it would take at least probably 20 hours with the home internet, and down there I'll be able to do it in about an hour and 15 minutes. If they would just hurry up and get some fiber optic out to the house, I wouldn't have to deal with this anymore. We would have went with the satellite internet, but they keep saying we're going to get the fiber optic soon. It's just like, why waste the money when it's coming anyway? But I'm getting sick of waiting. 55 minutes left. Well, I got the video uploaded, made it back home here. And as you guys know, this is the strawberry patch. I was going to put them into raised beds this year, and then we got busy with everything in Louisiana. And by the way, the new update is that house should close, I believe, tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow or the following day. I'll let you know when it finally does happen. Anyway, we're going to go through here because these plants seem to be doing really well, even though they're completely in this tall grass. But you can see that the plants are still, let's get that grass out of your way, looking pretty healthy. I mean, this needs to be taken care of, but for right now, I'm going to go through here and see if we have any strawberries that are ready. I got one of the rows picked. Can't imagine how many we would have if there was no weeds in here. There are hundreds of them still growing that are white, but this is just one row. I think I've got two full rows left. I'm gonna run in and have lunch, and then we'll come back out and see what else we get. We have a lot of different varieties in here, so this might have just been a really good variety. I don't know. That's what we got out of row 2. One more row to go. Not much for the third row, but when we got these, some of them were June bearing and some of them were ever bearing. And this row here, I mean, there were hundreds of white ones, just not anything that was really getting ripe except for these right here. But I did see I do have a fourth row. Everything is kind of going together because, you know, they've made their little shoots and everything is planted, so it's like gets to be big wide rows, and then I have to find the part that dips down to know right where the row is. So let me run through that last row, see if there's anything. Can't remember how I planted these. I tried to keep I think the ones that were early bearing on one side and late bearing on the other. This was the third and fourth row combined. Again, in that fourth row there was hundreds of them growing. They're just not the ones that mature quite as fast, so we got a lot more strawberries coming. I hope they get big size. Like the first two rows had a real nice big size. I mean, these aren't bad either, but some of those were really big. And you know how strawberries are, though, later in the season, like they'll get smaller. So we'll see how these do, but she's got plenty for making her. She wants to make strawberry rhubarb jam. And we got a lot of strawberries today. Well, I haven't filmed anything for this video in the last 2 days. We finally had the closing on the Louisiana house, so that's done and gone. And then there's several projects that are going to happen here at the farm now, and I started on this one here. I'm doing a whole series on this. You may have already seen a video about it. I'm just going to redo this whole thing, and anyway, I'll talk about it in that series. And now it's Saturday night, so I need to get out on the mower and do a little mowing because I haven't mowed for, well, Thursday it would have been 7 days, so we're at 9 days right now. I need to get some of it done. I guess like I haven't mowed the main part of the yard. I did some mowing over on the other side of the dumpster, I think. I'm maybe in this video. I have no clue. At 10 to 7 I started out here, and now it's about 5 o'clock and I'm beat. Good morning, everybody. Getting out here this morning and picking the strawberries again. It's it's going to be warm today, like maybe about 80, but then around 2 o'clock there's an 80% chance that after that we could get over an inch of rain. So thought I'd get out here and get these picked early. Well, that's about halfway done with the first row. Some of those are really nice. Well, I thought I could get the whole third row into one thing just over doing it, but I can't. I still have about 7 feet left of a row for row number 2, but I got to bring these in. Well, that's the end of the second row. Dark clouds are coming and I can hear thunder way off in the distance. Well, I got through almost all of the third row. Got that many. I probably have 5 more feet to go, but it's raining and thundering and lightning, so I'm gonna run in. Melissa made jambalaya and potato salad last night, so we have a good lunch coming up. And right now she's got the canner going and she's starting to can strawberries. I don't know if she's making jam. I know she was going to add rhubarb to some of it. Well, we had a few hours where it was off and on raining it with thunder and lightning, and you'd think it was going to rain hard, but it never really rained like they thought it was going to. Melissa is still in there making strawberry jam. 6 o'clock on a Sunday night right now. I thought I'd come out here and cut a little bit on this pile. Every little bit dwindles it down a little bit more. Well, that's enough for today. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks a lot for watching. Maybe next week we'll come out here and take a look at the garden. Everything is doing really well. I will see you guys on the next video.